Hello, and welcome. I'm going to tell you a story today. A story that begins not here on Earth, but out there, in the dying moments of stars. You see, in the heart of dying stars, where temperatures rage at billions of degrees, where gravity collapses and matter itself is torn apart, gold is born. For billions of years, this precious metal drifted through space. A passenger on asteroids. A stowaway in the ancient debris that eventually became our planet. And when humans first glimpsed its shimmer in a riverbed, everything changed. This is the story of element 79, of Au on the periodic table, of humanity's most enduring obsession. This is the story of gold. Over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey, from the cosmos to ancient Egypt, from deep underground mines to modern trading floors, and finally to what the future holds for this remarkable metal. So let's begin. At the very beginning. Gold doesn't form like other elements. Iron, carbon, oxygen, these are forged in the steady nuclear furnaces of regular stars. But gold? Gold requires something far more violent. Imagine this, 2 neutron stars, each one a city-sized sphere of matter so dense that a teaspoon would weigh 1 billion tons. Now imagine them colliding. In less than a second, this cosmic catastrophe synthesizes more gold than exists in our entire solar system, and then it scatters it into the void, into nebulas, into the dust that would one day become Earth. Our planet's gold arrived as a gift from space. 4 billion years ago, during what scientists call the Late Heavy Bombardment, asteroids laden with gold struck our young planet. Most of Earth's original gold had already sunk to the unreachable core. But this delivery, this is the gold we mine today. Think about that. The gold ring on your finger, the gold in your phone, the gold in bank vaults around the world, it's literally stardust, forged in the most violent events in the universe. Pretty amazing, right? So when did humans first discover this cosmic treasure? Somewhere around 6,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia, human hands shaped the first gold ornament. Not a tool, not a weapon, but an object of pure beauty. And gold had something no other material possessed. It never tarnished, never corroded, never lost its luster. In a world where everything decayed, where wood rotted and iron rusted, gold was eternal. The ancient Egyptians called it the flesh of the gods. They buried their pharaohs in it, convinced it was the skin of Ra, the sun god himself. By 2600 BCE, when the Great Pyramid rose from the sands, its capstone was sheathed in gleaming gold, visible for miles, a beacon to the heavens. Gold wasn't just wealth, it was divine. Let me tell you how gold transformed from religious symbol to the foundation of empires. In 600 BCE, the Lydians, an ancient civilization in what's now Turkey, minted the first gold coins. They took this divine metal and turned it into currency, and everything changed. Alexander the Great's conquests, fueled by gold mines in Thrace. Rome's dominance, built on Spanish gold. The Silk Road, a highway for gold flowing between East and West. Gold wasn't just beautiful. It was power. It was conquest. It was civilization itself. But the story takes a darker turn when we get to 1532. When Francisco Pizarro entered the Incan Empire, he found a civilization that worshipped gold as the sweat of the sun. Within 1 year, he had melted down an entire culture's artistic heritage. 13,000 pounds of gold artifacts into bars to ship back to Spain. Think about that. Centuries of artistry, of cultural expression, of religious devotion reduced to bullion. But this plundered gold didn't just enrich Spain. It transformed the entire global economy. Banks rose in Florence and Amsterdam. International trade emerged. For the first time in history, gold connected continents. And then came the gold rushes. California in 1849, Australia in 1851, the Klondike in 1896. Ordinary people dropped everything, their jobs, their families, their entire lives, and raced across continents chasing the dream of gold. San Francisco grew from a tent city to a metropolis in just 2 years. Fortunes were made overnight and lost just as quickly. Men froze to death in the Yukon. Some struck it rich. Most went home broken. The hunger for gold, it's humanity's oldest addiction. Now I need to show you something. Because behind every glittering piece of gold jewelry, there's a story most people never see. The Mponeng gold mine in South Africa is the deepest mine on Earth, 3 kilometers below the surface. That's deeper than 7 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. Down there, miners work in conditions that would kill most living things. The temperature reaches 60 degrees Celsius. That's 140 Fahrenheit. The rock pressure is so intense that tunnels can collapse without warning. The air has to be pumped from the surface. These men work 4-hour shifts because the human body literally cannot endure more. And here's the really staggering part. Are you ready for this? 1 ton of ore from Mponeng, that's 2,000 pounds of rock, yields less than 10 grams of gold, the weight of 2 sugar cubes. To produce a single gold wedding band requires processing 20 tons of rock. The environmental cost is equally staggering. Mercury poisoning from small-scale mining, cyanide contamination, entire mountains moved, forests cleared. But I want to be fair here. The industry is changing. Modern mines are using renewable energy. Environmental restoration is now mandatory in most countries. The gold industry is becoming more responsible, but we can't ignore the cost. And here's something that might shock you. An estimated 20 million people worldwide mine gold by hand, with mercury, with desperation, often in dangerous conditions. Sometimes children are involved. The glittering metal we love so much casts a very long shadow. But let me show you the engineering marvel that transforms rock into pure gold. The ore is crushed into powder, mixed with cyanide solution that dissolves the gold particles, filtered, precipitated, then smelted in furnaces at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. What emerges is 99.99% pure gold. A standard 400-ounce gold bar, the kind held in central bank vaults, weighs 12.4 kilograms, but is only slightly larger than an iPhone. That's how dense gold is. And where does it go? Into vaults, deep underground. The New York Federal Reserve holds 6,350 tons of gold, 5 stories below Manhattan. More than $500 billion worth, belonging to foreign nations and institutions, guarded by a 90-ton steel door. Some of these bars haven't moved since 1950. Here's a mind-blowing fact. All the gold ever mined in human history, about 208,000 tons, would fit in a cube just 22 meters on each side. That's smaller than a city block. Every wedding ring, every gold tooth, every Olympic medal, every bar in every vault. All of it. That's all we have from all of time. Now let's talk about gold as money. Because for thousands of years, gold didn't just represent money. Gold was money. Ancient coins, British sovereigns, American double eagles. For millennia, gold was value itself, tangible, divisible, impossible to counterfeit. You didn't need to trust a government or a bank. You just needed to trust physics. After World War II, at a conference in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, 44 nations rebuilt the global economy on a simple promise. Every US dollar could be exchanged for 1/35 of an ounce of gold. For a generation, this gold standard anchored international trade. The dollar was good because it was backed by gold. And then, one Sunday evening in August 1971, President Richard Nixon ended it. "We're closing the gold window," he announced on national television. No more convertibility. The dollar would float free. Gold would float free. This moment, known as the Nixon shock, changed everything. What happened next redefined gold forever. The price, which had been fixed at $35 per ounce, began to soar. Within a decade, gold hit $850. It crashed to $250 in 1999. Then began a relentless climb that continues to this day. So let's talk about where we are right now. Today, October 17th, 2025, gold is trading at levels that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. The spot price stands at approximately $4,310 per troy ounce. Let that number sink in. $4,310 for a single ounce of gold. The rally has been nothing short of extraordinary. Just 1 month ago, gold was trading at $3,644 per ounce. That's an 18% gain in 30 days. 1 year ago, it was at $2,720. That's a 58% surge in 12 months. And if we look back 5 years to October 2020, gold was trading at $1,910 per ounce. It has more than doubled in 5 years. In 2025 alone, gold has already gained over 35%, making this gold's strongest performance since the 1970s. So what are the experts saying? Analysts are racing to adjust their forecasts. J.P. Morgan predicts gold will average $3,675 per ounce by the fourth quarter of 2025, climbing toward $4,000 by mid-2026. Goldman Sachs echoes similar targets. Some forecasters see $5,000 within 5 years. The most bullish predictions reach as high as $10,000 per ounce by 2030. But predictions come with caveats. The bears warn of corrections if real interest rates rise or if the dollar strengthens significantly. The bulls counter that structural forces we'll explore in a moment, make this rally different from anything we've seen before. So why is gold soaring? 5 major forces are converging to create what analysts are calling a perfect storm for precious metals. Let me walk you through each one. First, inflation, the ancient enemy of paper money. U.S. inflation, though cooling from its 2022 peaks, remains above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Core inflation sits at around 3.1% annually. When the purchasing power of currency erodes, gold, which cannot be printed, cannot be devalued by decree, becomes a refuge. Every percentage point of inflation above the Fed's target is essentially a vote for gold. Second, interest rates. In September 2025, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time since 2024. Reducing them to the 4 to 4.25% range. When interest rates fall, gold becomes relatively more attractive. You see, gold doesn't pay dividends or interest. When bonds are paying 5%, holding gold has an opportunity cost. But when rates drop to 4% or lower, that opportunity cost shrinks. Money flows from bonds into bullion. Third, and this is the game changer, central bank demand. In 2025, central banks around the world are projected to purchase 900 tons of gold. This marks the 4th consecutive year of massive central bank buying. China leads the charge, followed by India, Turkey, Russia, and Poland. These nations are quietly, systematically diversifying away from U.S. dollar reserves and into gold. Why? 3 reasons: geopolitical insurance, sanctions fears, and dollar diversification. After watching Russian dollar reserves get frozen in 2022, central banks learned a harsh lesson. Dollars can be weaponized. Gold cannot. The message is crystal clear. Central banks trust gold more than they trust each other's currencies. Fourth, geopolitical turmoil. U.S.-China trade tensions, Middle East conflicts, election uncertainty across multiple major economies, tariff wars, policy unpredictability. Each crisis sends investors fleeing to gold's safe harbor. In 2025, geopolitical risk isn't declining, it's accelerating. And every time headlines scream about new tensions, gold ticks higher. Fifth, dollar weakness. The U.S. dollar index has declined nearly 8% year-to-date in 2025. A weaker dollar makes gold cheaper for foreign buyers, increasing demand. It also signals concerns about America's fiscal trajectory, massive deficits, political dysfunction, debt ceiling crises. As confidence in the dollar wavers, confidence in gold strengthens. Now here's what makes this movement unique. These five forces aren't acting independently. They're reinforcing each other, creating feedback loops. Low interest rates enable higher inflation. Inflation drives central bank buying. Geopolitical risk exacerbates inflation fears. Dollar weakness amplifies everything. This isn't speculation. It's mathematics and history. In every major crisis of the past 50 years, the 1970s oil shocks, the 2008 financial crisis, the 2020 pandemic, gold has fulfilled its ancient promise to preserve wealth when everything else fails. But gold is more than an investment, more than a commodity, more than stored wealth. Gold is meaning itself. Think about a gold wedding ring. It carries no practical purpose. It's soft. It scratches easily. It won't save your life. But it symbolizes an eternal promise. And we choose gold because gold, unlike love, unlike life itself, truly is eternal. It will never tarnish, never decay. The ring your great-great-grandmother wore looks the same as the day it was made. Or consider the Olympic gold medal. It contains just 6 grams of actual gold, worth about $300 at today's prices. But it represents years of sacrifice, childhood dreams, national pride. We could give athletes platinum or titanium or diamonds, but we don't, because only gold means the absolute best, first place, victory, glory. In every major religion, gold touches the divine. Buddha statues gleam with it. Christian icons are framed in it. The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem shines with it. Hindu gods are adorned with it. The Golden Temple of Amritsar reflects it in sacred waters. When humans try to represent the sacred, when we try to visualize the divine, we reach for gold. But why? Why does gold affect us so deeply? Neuroscientists have discovered that humans have an almost neurological response to gold. Brain scans show our neural pathways light up when we see it. Our pupils dilate, our breathing changes. There's something primal happening. Some evolutionary psychologists theorize it's hardwired into us. Gold's unique color, unlike any other metal in nature, made it instantly recognizable to our ancestors. Its rarity made it valuable for trade. Its permanence made it trustworthy for storing wealth. Over thousands of generations, our brains became conditioned to value gold. Here's what's remarkable. Even isolated tribes with no contact with modern civilization value gold. Children who've never seen a gold coin recognize its worth instinctively. Gold's value transcends culture itself. And in times of crisis, people don't flee to platinum. They don't hoard diamonds. They buy gold. It's not entirely rational. It's not purely logical. It's something deeper, primal, written into our DNA over millennia of human history. So what's next? What does the future hold for this ancient metal in our modern world? We live in the digital age, an age of Bitcoin and blockchain, of virtual currencies and NFTs, an age that should, in theory, have no use for physical gold. Digital natives prefer digital assets, right? And yet gold has never been stronger. While cryptocurrencies crash and burn, while digital fortunes vanish overnight, gold remains. Bitcoin has crashed multiple times. FTX collapsed, wiping out billions. Luna, Celsius, dozens of crypto projects gone. But gold? Gold just keeps climbing. Because here's the thing. You can hack a blockchain, but you can't hack physics. You can shut down a crypto exchange, but you can't shut down gold. You can lose your private keys, but you can't lose gold held in your hand. Ironically, technology has made gold more accessible than ever. You can now buy gold on your smartphone, own fractions of an ounce, trade it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Track its authenticity on blockchain. Gold has embraced the digital age while remaining defiantly physical. So what do the experts say about the years ahead? There's unusual agreement, strength, continued central bank buying, rising Asian demand as the middle class in China and India continues to grow. Geopolitical uncertainty showing no signs of abating. And here's a crucial new factor, supply constraints. We're not running out of gold, but we're running out of easily accessible gold. Every year, miners have to dig deeper, travel to more remote locations, extract from lower-grade ore. The easy gold, the nuggets in streams, the rich veins near the surface, is gone. New gold mine discoveries have been declining for years. It now takes an average of 10 to 20 years from discovery to production for a major gold mine. The pipeline is drying up. Meanwhile, demand keeps rising. This supply-demand imbalance supports higher prices for years to come. Some futurists dream of asteroid mining, of spacecraft returning with gold from the cosmos, completing the cycle that began in neutron star collisions billions of years ago. But that day is decades away, if it ever comes. For now, the gold we have is all we'll have. The future may also lie in what we've already extracted. Your old smartphone contains more gold per ton than most gold mines. Urban mining, recovering gold from electronic waste, could become increasingly important. What was once thrown away is now treasure. So here we are, at the end of our journey. From the hearts of dying stars to the depths of our planet, from pharaohs' tombs to bag vaults, from ancient kingdoms to modern portfolios, gold has been humanity's constant companion for 6,000 years. It doesn't corrode, it doesn't decay, it doesn't default or declare bankruptcy. It doesn't depend on any government's promise or any central bank's credibility. It simply is, eternal, incorruptible, real. In a world of digital ephemera and paper promises, in an age where fortunes can be created or destroyed with a keystroke, gold remains defiantly solid. The last honest money, the ultimate safe haven. Is it a perfect investment? No. It pays no dividends. It generates no cash flow. It just sits there, gleaming, waiting. But that's precisely the point. In a world of constant change, of disruption and innovation and chaos, sometimes you need something that just sits there, unchanging. Reliable, eternal. The ancient Egyptians knew it. The Roman emperors knew it. The conquistadors knew it. Central banks know it today. And as we move into an increasingly uncertain future, more and more people are remembering this ancient truth. When everything else fails, there's gold. From stars to eternity. That's the story of gold. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time.